Hey everyone, I'm Army Gaming. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to Monster Legends livestream, a comparison episode where we're going to be comparing two light monsters, two light attackers, pretty good attackers at that. And the way you can be a part of this conversation is if you join Discord. There's a link in the description. You join Discord, you make an account, and then you go to the voice channel called Join Here to be on the live stream, and then I slowly bring everyone one by one, and then you guys can give your thoughts. So let me make sure everything is working. Welcome everyone to the live stream. Welcome. So we always have troubles where it's like I'll bring someone up and they're not ready, their mic doesn't work, something usually goes wrong all the time. Hopefully that won't happen this time. Just make sure, I would advise that you go to general first and talk with people, make sure your mic is working, and once you're 100% ready to be on the stream, then join the voice channel called Join Here to be on the live stream. And also, when you do come on live, make sure you turn the stream off, that way I don't hear myself echo or I don't hear myself in the background. And so yeah, let's get into it. We're going to be comparing two monsters. First we have, it's either pronounced Patrion or Patrion. You know, I'm assuming, if I understand correctly, the YouTuber's name is Pat, so I'm assuming the name would include Pat. So Patrion is what I call him. Some people say Patreon. Call him whatever you want to. He's a cool looking Taiga MMO looking monster. And we have Taiga. And just comparing their base stats right away, Patrion has more power, he has more life, and they have the same speed. So stats wise, he's winning. Traits, we have immune to stun and immune to freeze. I think for the light category, you need to worry about stun more than you need to worry about freeze. So in the light category, he has an advantage there. And then for skills, you guys can compare that. So let's get into it. If you want to be a part of the stream, make sure to join the conversation, make sure to join Discord. Actually, before that, if you want to vote on which monster you think is better, and if you can't call for whatever reason, there is a straw poll. There's a link in the description to that too, so I'm going to bring that up. And right now, this is the score. Right now, Patrion is winning 2 votes to 1 vote. So let's see if this changes by the end of the stream. Let me exit out of that. And let's have the first caller. Hello?
Hello?
Hey, how's it going? You're on live.
Oh, am I?
Yep.
Okay, I think Taiga is the better monster.
Okay, why is that?
Well, because he can give himself double damage and increase accuracy and give himself camouflage, which makes it so he can't take any attacks.
Yeah, it's like a space-time, huh?
Yeah. And he can... he has a 45 damage AoE, which can do a lot of damage as well. And the single target 70 damage bleed.
So you think he's better for offense, right?
Yeah.
If you had to use one of them for defense, who would you say is better?
Well, I'll still say Taiga's better because he can give himself camouflage. And he's quite good.
So he kind of has more like AI proof skills on defense, right? Because of camouflage, like it increases survivability.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think of Patrion or Patreon, however you want to call him?
Yeah, I think he's good as well because of he has a lot of he has an AoE bleed and an AoE sunburn, as well as he has a self skill which can remove negative debuffs and give himself life regeneration and stamina regeneration.
Yeah, I love that self skill. I think it's so crazy. It's so good.
Yeah.
All right, so if your vote goes to Taiga, yeah. Anything else?
Yeah. No.
No, that's it.
Yeah.
All right, thank you for being on.
Thanks.
All right. Let's continue to bring in more people. The first vote goes to Taiga. So Taiga takes the first vote. Let's bring in... Hello? Hello? Okay, we'll try someone else. Let's go with Sonic. Hello? Sonic, you're on.
Okay.
Give me your thoughts.
So, even though I have Taiga, I don't have Patreon, but Patreon is, as I saw in the analysis yesterday, is pretty darn good.
Mm-hmm. Why is that?
Mainly with it. Oh, sorry about that.
I'll go for it.
Mainly with his skill support from Bill, which gives him regeneration, stamina regeneration. I don't think a damage boost.
No.
And what are the other two?
It's remove own debuff, life regeneration, stamina regeneration, and heal by 30%.
Okay.
It's really good, I think. It has a 1 turn cooldown, according to the wiki.
Yeah, really good, and especially low stamina cost.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's bugged.
You don't think it's supposed to be like that?
Yeah, I think it should be about 32 stamina cost, if, in my opinion.
Even if it's 32, just the fact that you get energy regeneration, which now recovers 30%, like, it's essentially like you're back to normal by the next turn. I don't know, it's a really good, it's a really good supportive self skill. But what else? What else do you like about him over Taiga?
He has some good. I didn't look much on his skills, but I like his sun. I like the fact that he also does sunburn, not just Bella Ball.
Yeah, he's a new monster to give AoE sunburn.
Yeah, and that's pretty good.
Yeah, so anything else you want to add for why he's better? Why he's superior?
I really don't know much about him right now. I would need the wiki, but my brother has my phone right at the moment, so I can't check the wiki.
That's all good. But your vote still goes for him, though? Without you knowing too much?
Yeah.
Alright, that's cool.
So I also want to talk about Taiga too.
Alright, go for it.
So between them, Taiga is pretty good as well because he has camouflage, which is like space-time.
Mm-hmm.
Or evasion. I don't know.
It's like space-time. Evasion actually ignores effects too, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's overpowered. I like his self-skill called Ready to Hunt because it gives him double damage, accuracy, and the camouflage. And then on that following turn, I can do a massive hit and kill, or I can use his AoE light hit, Fatal Ambush.
Yeah, so I think we can agree they're both really good attackers. Or you don't know much about the other one, but they're both really good attackers. But I'm gonna ask one more time. Your vote, your number one vote on who's better, who would it be?
In terms of power, I would go with Patrion because he's pretty strong, but yet his self skill is why I actually chose him.
All right, good enough for me. Anything else you want to add?
Not really.
All right, oh, left. Thanks. All right, let's continue to bring in more people. Right now it is tied, so. Oh, why are you back? Let me.
Hello.
Oh, hello. Hey.
Hey.
What is your thoughts?
Dude, if I like really analyze these two monsters, I really do believe that Patreon is better.
Why is that?
Because if you look at his stats, most of them are better than Taiga, except for the speed, because they're exactly the same. If you look at the trait, he's immune to stun, while Taiga's immune to freeze. And like my personal opinion, I think immunity to stun is better for light monsters. So, yeah.
Why is that?
And then
is
for
it because,
the special,
hold on. Is it because more monsters have stun, or you just prefer immunity to stun? Do you like immunity to stun better because more monsters have it, or what's the reasoning for that?
I just like that insurance of immunity to stun, because I can't really think of light monsters that have freeze just right now.
I think right now that doesn't exist. Yeah.
So that's why I think he's better right now.
Mm-hmm.
And the popular cubes, his special is really good because it's special base 70 and it stuns all enemies. But Taiga's is just a full
Deals insane special damage, 80 damage to everyone's special based. Are you still on? Awkward silence for the win. Alright, so I think we'll bring you back because that is very weird. So stay on. If you're listening to the stream right now, just I'll bring you back in a few minutes and we can continue where we left off. Alright, let's try Rockin' Ruby, you're on live.
Well, hello.
Hello.
Yeah, so I wanted to chime in about the comparison series this time. And I wanted to start with the AoEs. We know that. Is it Patrion or Patreon?
I like saying
Patreon,
but people are saying Patreon. But say whatever you like. Say whatever you like.
Patreon it is.
All right.
So, the AoE, the Blue Blade projection, and the Shining Blue Blade are definitely better than Taiga's. I mean, not only they both have 90% accuracy. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly. All is good.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Great. Okay, so they both have 90% accuracy, which is great for an AoE, and they both place DOTs of bleed and sunburn, which no one is immune to, and the one AoE gives a 50% damage boost. So if you can pair him up, pair Patreon up with a demise and then do a shining blue blade, and then you can stack your buff and do a DOT on the next.
Yeah.
It would, I feel like I haven't played with him yet, but I feel like with those two AoEs and demise, you can wipe out the entire enemy team.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and you just kind of hope that you don't get confused or frozen in the meantime while you're waiting to do your second AoE that's buffed. Mm-hmm. I know Taiga has the camouflage that kind of deflects that, but Taiga's life is a lot less than Patrion's. It's Patrion definitely has a higher life stat, so for that I'd probably run a health rune on him and 2 strength just so that he stayed alive and got his second AoE in. And then, you finish the team with the second attack and hope for the best. Well, if the damage isn't enough of 40, which Taiga's AoE isn't 40. I don't even know what it is. It's not 40, though. He still has 2 DOTs on the whole enemy team with 90% accuracy. So if you don't take him out with damage, you're definitely going to take him out with those 2 DOTs that no one's immune to. So that's my 2 cents. Oh, and the specials. Patrion definitely takes the specials too. I know Taiga does 80% damage, and Patrion does 70% damage, but Patrion stuns, so it's game over.
Yeah, it's just in case you don't finish them off, you have that immobilizing, right?
Yes. Yeah. So I love the AoEs on this monster, and it's probably the best I've ever seen. And I'm definitely going to rank this one.
All right, awesome. Anything else you want to add?
Yeah. Team Patrion all the way.
Thank you. All right, awesome.
Yep. Bye.
Bye. All right, so we have another vote for Patrion. So that's 2 votes, I believe. 2 votes and 1 vote for Taiga. Let's continue to bring in more people, see what you guys have to say. Good discussion, good discussion. Actually, let me bring up the straw poll and see how it's going right now. And wait, is that refreshed? Let me refresh that. Boom! Oh, 20 votes for Patrion, 15 votes for Taiga. Keep on voting, guys. There's a link in the description, so make sure you vote. Make sure you vote. Alright, let me bring in... Boom. Hello.
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 Let me think for a second. Oh, fuck me.
Okay then. Hello?
Hello.
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 Hello?
Hello.
Hey, you're on live.
Okay. I think that Patreon is better than Taiga.
Why is that?
I think that support from Bill
Yeah. Okay. We'll try gems for free again. Hopefully everything is working out. Hey gems, you're back on.
Okay, sorry about that.
No, it's all good. So
Okay,
I think we left off on the ultimates, right?
Yeah. So, the ultimates, Taiga's is his special is deals insane special damage to all enemies. Insane meaning 80 damage, but it doesn't have like any like effects to it. And remember, Taiga's power is 3,498, while Patreon's is 3,553. And Patreon special is actually a 70 damage AoE that does stun too. But I feel like because Patreon just has like so much more power that I feel like it would just balance it out, so they would have like the same damage output. And that's just assuming like they have like the exact same runes equipped and stuff.
I'm tempted to say.
And also for like.
Let me just interrupt real quick. I'm tempted to say that Taiga would deal more damage, just because in the damage formula, the skill power is more important than the actual monster's power. I'll have to release that later, a video on how to calculate damage. But yeah, I think.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't matter. Stun is awesome. Go for it.
Yeah. Okay. So and also, for the AOE's that both monsters have, like they both have like I think they have an AOE bleeding, right?
Yes.
Okay. So Patreon has an AOE bleeding, and an AOE like sunburn, which is basically like, I think it's just like burning, but you'd lose like accuracy too as well.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
It's a better burning basically.
Yeah. And then he also gains a damage boost from that, 50%. So that's really good. And Taiga's AoEs are like, I think one of them's just like a 45 damage normal, like light based attack.
Yeah.
And then it's like, and the other one is like an AoE bleed again. But I feel like Patreon would do more damage if you do the Shining Blade first, the Shining Blue Blade, and then do the Blue Blade projection.
Yeah.
Because like, what was it? Actually, no.
No, yeah, you're right. Because Shining Blue Blade gives you the 50% damage buff.
Yeah.
And plus, Blue Blade projection is special based, so you don't need to worry about attacking a light monster. It's special based, so that's an advantage he has over Taiga. Taigas are both light based AoEs.
Yeah, and then people say like Taiga's better because he has those two skills that can like, I think it's like, it's kind of like Timerion space time.
Yeah, it's called camouflage.
Yeah, but to be honest, that doesn't really like matter to me because I believe that Patreon actually has like the potential to one-shot the enemies, you know? Because let's say your Denar's gonna go first, they're gonna do a little bit of damage, and then I believe that Patreon can actually one-shot them, and if not, he can just do one of his massive single target attacks.
Yeah.
So I don't really find use for Taiga's
like you don't think the camouflage is really necessary, right?
Yeah, just cause I believe that he can one-shot.
Yeah.
Aside from that, I think I'm done.
Alright, that was pretty good. That was really good analysis, actually.
Okay.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Later.
Thank you.
Alright, so that was Gems for Free. He came back and he finished saying why Patreon... I'm saying Patreon now. Why Patrion is better. So, that's awesome. Let's keep on bringing in more people. Rabbits. Waffles Reject, you are on. Hello? It says you're talking, but I can't hear you. So I'm gonna take you off and I'll put you back. You can probably hear me, so hopefully you can get that fixed. Let's bring in... Let's do Logan. Hello?
Hi.
Hello, welcome. You are live.
My vote goes to Patreon
Why is that?
because personally, I think his trade is better. I think more monsters have stun moves and freeze moves.
Mhm.
And as you said, Patreon has better stats. And I think Taiga does have a better self skill because of camouflage and double damage. But Patreon's is also probably one of the most amazing in the game.
Mhm.
He also has both Taiga and Patreon have an AoE 45 damage, but Taiga's is just damage. Patreon's, on the other hand, gives Sunburn and gives a damage boost to himself. Both also have an AoE bleed, but Taiga's is 30 damage in light base, and Patreon's is 40 damage in special.
Yeah, that's a huge advantage. Like, more damage and special base, that's crazy.
And then Taiga doesn't really have any good single target light skills, but he's got 2 single targets good special. Well, Patreon has 2 really good heavy hitting light damage skills. One deals massive damage and makes the target bleed, so it's probably gonna kill the monster in one shot. But if they don't, they'll probably die from
The
bleeding.
bleeding takes care of the rest, yeah.
And it also removes positive effects if they have shield or a
Life regeneration, yeah.
It would get rid of that, so they die.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Because life regeneration, they would be able to survive a bleeding, but if you can get rid of it and apply bleeding, that's really good.
And then his other good single target hit, Aloof Fire, removes shield, which is good. You're fighting in an Earth War.
Mhm.
And then it does 65 light base damage, and it adds Sunburn. So again, they'll probably die of a DOT if they don't have regeneration.
Yep.
And then he's got Lich King Slayer, which isn't really that. If you want to run one of those, get Emma Monster.
Yeah, I agree. If you're going for the minus 20%, go for MMO. He can do 30%, 10%, 20%. Yeah, really good insight on the monster. Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, in terms of specials, I think Patreon also does have the better one.
Mhm.
Even though Taiga's does have 80 damage, there is a very, very, very small chance that the monster survives. But Patreon's is 70 damage, and it's so even if the monsters do survive. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, thank you, Logan.
Thank you.
All right, cool. So that was Logan, and yet another vote for Patrion. I'm going to continue to say Patrion. So that's cool. 2 votes for Pat, one vote for Taiga, I believe. So once again, if you want to be a part and give your opinion, give your analysis on these 2 monsters, make sure to join the Discord. There's a link in the description. Let's bring in more people. Hello?
Hello?
Hey, you're on live.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'll vote for Patreon.
All right, why is that?
Because, well, firstly, I want to say that on Monster Legends itself, on one of those, like, I don't know what to call it, pop-up ads, something.
Yeah, I know what you're gonna say. Go for it.
Yeah, it was written, "This is the best light attacker." So
they said it themselves.
work
They
for
admit
him.
it. Yeah.
But if we're gonna see through his skills and his stats, like overall, his Patron has got better stats than Taiga, like overall, and skills too. I feel like, like the power and life, and well, speed is the same. And like I have Taiga, so can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Like I have Taiga, and I use like the skills, like his 2 AoEs and hidden kill and ready to hunt. And I think like the skills of Patrion, like their Monster Legends have taken the Taiga's skills and just like upgraded them on Patrion.
Yeah, I can see that. For sure.
Patreon. So like the Limb Breaker, even though it's light and hidden kill is special, like on Limb Breaker it's 70 damage and bleeding and remove positive effects. On Taiga it's just bleed. And if I scroll up, support from Bill. It doesn't have this double damage, but it's really awesome self skill. And the Blue Blade projection is really awesome because like that's really upgraded from Taiga's Deadly Artifice,
Yeah,
or
definitely.
what it's called. There's 40 damage. It's 40 damage and 24 stamina and 2 turns cooldown. On Taiga, I believe it's... Let me see.
I can tell you it's 30 damage, 35 stamina, and a 3 turn cooldown. So more stamina, more cooldown, less damage.
Yeah, that's what I said. The skills are just upgraded.
Yep.
It's like, yeah.
I can
upgrade.
I can see what you're saying. Yeah, they got Taiga and they're like, we like his skills. Let's make him slightly better for this new monster we're releasing. I can see that.
So, yeah. And he's immune to stun and Taiga's immune to freeze. That's, I feel it's like the same thing. They both has good effects.
Yeah, they are both. I would say though, I think freeze is. It's hard to say because freeze is technically better because you can get frozen back to back, but you can't get stunned back to back. But in the game, there's currently no light monster that has freeze skills, so like it kind of balances out right now. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Special skill. Even though Taiga's got 80% damage, and Patron's got 70. He still got stunned, so like even if Taiga could have wanted killed every single monster on the enemy team with his special skill, and Patron couldn't, he would still stun them unless they had stun immunity, and then he would almost get another turn in, and then use one of his other AoEs, like Shining Blue Blade.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to add anything else?
No, I don't think so.
Alright, that was awesome. That was really clear and concise. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Alright, so Taiga is not getting much love. I honestly thought a lot more people would vote for Taiga, but no, I guess, sorry Taiga, you are like the old. Let's see if anyone else can still vote for him. Let's bring in more people. Let's go. Hello?
Armor.
Hey.
Armor.
I want to hear your analysis. Go for it.
Yeah. So, this comparison was really hard because both of the monsters are great, but I will side with Taiga. I will start my analysis with defense.
All right.
Now, on defense, there is no doubt you're getting outspeeded at most of the times, and you get attacked by a deny and an attacker. Now, let's say for the purpose of giving Patrion a fair chance in defense, let's say the enemy finishes off the deny first. And let's see what Patrion AI can do. Now the bot, he can do his self-skill, which is another waste of turn, since you're 2v3. He can single target attack with Limb Breaker, but also Taiga also has a single target attack, which is similar to that. And I don't think that the 5% difference in DLT and the difference in the power will matter that much, because if the offense team is picking off your deny first, they for sure know that your attacker can kill them. Now, now both Patreon and Taiga have two Aoe moves. Now, so Patreon can run two Aoe moves, but that doesn't really help. He can't kill a monster to deny a coin to the attacking team because the power in the Aoe attack isn't enough to kill a monster, especially now that we have tried triple legendary wars.
Yeah.
Also, let's see what Taiga can do. Now, Taiga can stall a lot on defense because he has two camouflage skills. He also has the 70 power special attack, which also Patreon has. I covered that not too long ago. So I think Taiga really takes it because he has camouflage. You get outspeeded, and Taiga, if he gets a turn, he can stall a lot. He can die. Meanwhile, Patreon dies really fast if he gets outspeeded uh, because you need to get a turn to use your self skill which you want to heal with. And while you're healing, you aren't putting out damage to kill a monster. Meanwhile, Taiga can also put out damage to risk your opponent losing a coin and also defend, which is really good for Taiga. Now on offense, I think both of them have the firepower to one shot, and both of them can skip turns with DLTs, which is a really big player with these two. But I really think that Taiga's self skills makes him better in offense. So unless you are running a deny with which has two deny skills for the entire enemy team, which is a really big luxury because now a lot of monsters have traits against immunity to stun, freeze, and etc.
Yeah.
Most of the time you need to use your enemy team deny to deny the enemy team, and if none Patreon or Taiga can't one shot, they do their self skill, or I guess the Patreon can also do his Aoe move, which also gives him a little bit of damage boost, but Taiga gets a double damage buff, which I guess sure Patreon does damage with his Aoe, but if you want to do the Aoe and then kill a monster, that can also be done by Taiga, but Taiga also can do his camouflage skill, his self skill, and then he can do his Aoe move, not the one with bleed, but the one with light power.
45 damage.
Because Taiga is also in Bad Legion, so it doesn't matter that the move is light based. And yeah, but I guess Patreon can use two Aoe denies to clean up, which he first you deny, then Patreon does his Aoe, which gives him a damage boost, and then he does another Aoe. But I find that moveset really bad because you don't have the single firepower, the single target firepower to kill someone. So another thing is that Taiga is luck proof, because if your deny misses on the enemy attacker, if your deny misses on the enemy attacker, Taiga is camouflaged, while Patreon could die potentially. And one last thing I wanted to cover, in Light Wars, there is a lot of monsters with blind, and Taiga has precision. I guess sure Patreon has removed all buffs, but the biggest buff you're getting in Light Wars is blind.
Yeah.
And Taiga can bypass that with precision.
Yeah, that basically gets rid of blind, so he technically has a way out of that too.
Yeah, that was everything I had to cover.
Alright, really? So Taiga's your vote, huh? Second person for Taiga. Interesting. I'm still debating who I'm gonna choose. Because these, like you said, for offense, these two are really good monsters. And then...
Yeah. I'm looking forward for your opinion.
Alright, it's gonna come out of nowhere, so thank you for your
Side
analysis.
for Team Taiga. Okay,
Team Taiga. Thank you. Alright, so that was a really good analysis, really good insight on why Taiga might be better for defense. The camouflage really helps him out, especially if the enemy takes out the denier. Then Taiga, he can potentially camouflage twice. One of the times he'll deal 50 damage, the other time he'll give himself increased accuracy and double damage. So it's kind of hard to take out Taiga. Of course with camouflage you can still immobilize, but you know, there's that potential for him to actually kill you. You might get hit with a 90 damage AoE if he has the double buff. Oh man, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. Let's see what you guys have to say, and then I'm gonna have to decide. Alright. Calvin, are you there?
Hi.
Hey, you're on live.
Okay, my vote goes on to Patreon
Alright, why is that?
because he has two moves, both AoEs that are a devastating combo.
Let me scroll to them. Shining Blue Blade and Blue Blade Projection. Alright, keep going.
Okay, let's say you first use Shining Blue Blade.
Mm-hmm.
It does 45 damage and gives sunburn and damage boost. So if you first use this, the entire team would potentially have sunburn, and he would give himself a damage boost, which allows him to set up for his next attack. So because of his damage boost, if he used his next AoE, instead of doing only 40, it would actually do 60, and it would also apply bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
So with these two skills alone, he would deal 105 damage to the entire team.
Mm-hmm. And that's without the DOTs. There's still DOTs to add. Yep.
And the bleeding and the sunburn.
Yep.
And also, in my opinion, Patreon is the perfect counter for General Ingvar.
Oh, interesting. Why is that?
Because General Ingvar, when we look at him, he has three main denying skills, right?
Yeah.
Dazing and blinding winds, both of which can be applied to the entire team, and both are, and as we know, General Ingvar is the perfect defense monster for war.
Yeah.
And this is where support from Bill comes in. Not only does it heal him, give him regeneration, and give him stamina regeneration, it gets rid of all of the negative effects he has on. So if General Ingvar was to use either blinding winds or dazing winds, he would be able to set him up for his next attack, and he would be healing also. And I looked at how much health Patreon had, and with his high health of 29,000, in total with the regeneration and the healing, he would heal by 27,000. And that's not the best part. The best part about support from Bill is that it has only one turn cooldown, which is just amazing.
Yeah, I think you pretty much said what I would have said about that skill.
And but the only other denying skill that General Ingvar has is his one turn cooldown, right?
Yeah, the stun, right?
Yeah, and as we know, Patreon is immune to stun.
Yeah.
Not only that, both of his attacks, Limb Breaker and Blue Fire, are amazing. So we have Limb Breaker, which gets rid of any good effects, which is perfect against General Ingvar. So if General Ingvar wasn't about to use 3 of those denying skills, he would use encouragement on his team.
Yep.
And looking at your videos, I see that you find encouragement very annoying.
Yeah, definitely.
Well then, let's just use Limb Breaker. apply bleeding to someone, pretty much one-shot one person, and get rid of all of their life regeneration and stamina regeneration. And not only that, Patreon stats are amazing. Power, the highest in life, 29,000, and the same speed as Taiga.
Yeah.
So with the two AoEs alone, he does 105 damage to the team, to the entire enemy team. His support from Bill is the best self skill. He's a perfect counter to the perfect defense light monster. And looking at Taiga, he may be pretty good for defense, but no one really uses him for defense, but they would rather use General Ingvar. So if everyone uses General Ingvar like they usually do, then Patreon would be the perfect counter.
Yeah, that's... I think, you know, I think I would have said most of what you said. I think you beat me to it. Like,
okay.
That's awesome. I'm really glad that you brought up that people mostly use Ingvar on defense. That was awesome.
Okay.
Do you want to add anything else? That was a really good analysis.
And the only thing, in my opinion, that would make Taiga better is the fact that he has camouflage. Rather than that, Patreon has better skills with better extra effects that give DOT effects himself, gets rid of good effects, bad effects, and he's just an amazing monster overall.
Alright, thank you, Calvin. That was great.
Okay, thank you.
That was awesome. That was great. Alright, so that was Calvin's analysis on why Patrion is better, and I gotta say, he said a lot of what I would have said, but I'm still gonna come up with an opinion by the end of the stream, which might be coming soon, but that was a really good analysis, I think, especially for someone his age. So let's keep on bringing in more people. I think right now we have 2 more people. Let's hopefully their mic is working, everything is good. We have some guy on. Hello?
Yeah, hello?
Hello, you are on live.
I think that Taiga is the better monster.
Alright.
Especially on defense, since for his trait, he has freeze, and Patreon has immunity to stun, but you can freeze a monster multiple times back to back, while there's a cooldown on stunning someone or monster. And just like Calvin said, yeah, Patreon does have 2 really good AoEs, but Taiga, his fatal ambush is pretty strong. Like, I run 2 pretty low strength runes and a speed rune, and his AoE fatal ambush does 11,000, almost 12,000. And like, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, go on.
Okay.
Are you still there?
Yeah.
Alright, go for it.
And just like Calvin said, a lot of people do use General Ignavar on defense, and skill to counter General Ignavar is his bleeding move, which is
the 70 damage one? Hit and kill?
Yeah, hit and kill. Which is special based and will apply bleeding. And that does, with like 2 level 4 strength runes, that does like 17,000. And then applies bleeding.
Maybe, because he is tough after all.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a tough thing with generals. You can't fully rely on them, but it could happen. Anything else you want to add on this?
And he has 2 camouflage skills, so you can run Ready to Hunt and then Fatal Ambush, or his other camouflage skill if you can't kill them with Fatal Ambush. And then they won't be able to deal damage to him, but he still can be immobilized by like stun and possession.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
That's all right. Thank you. You were the 3rd vote for Taiga, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Taiga's not getting that much love. Let's see if anyone else can vote for Taiga. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks.
All right. So we have yet another vote for Taiga. We have 2 more people this time, and I think these 2 will be the last ones. Hopefully it works. And then I'll give you guys my thoughts. And I am still not ready, but hopefully I'll be ready in a few minutes. Rabbits, you're on.
Hello?
Hello, you're on. I can hear you perfectly.
Thank you. And I can't... I'd like to go with Taiga, and here's why. I noticed across this stream, Taiga was getting absolutely no love, even though I think he doesn't gain enough credit. Especially with Ready to Hunt. Think of it. He ignores all damage for 1 turn and gains double damage and precision. This puts Dragon Berserker to shame. And it's for 2 turns. I thought it was originally for 1, but he's not going to miss his attack and he's going to deal an insane amount. Patrion, don't get me wrong, is amazing. Support from Bill is super useful, and that Blue Blade projection skill just does way too much damage. But Patrion's weakness, why I give the edge to Taiga, is that his massive damage skills are light-based, while Taiga's hitting kill is special-based. Even though Patrion can remove positive effects, is he really the best counter to Ingvar? Because he can still be blinded and dazed. Sure, he can get rid of those effects, but that's wasting a turn, and the problem with Ingvar is that his tanky life makes him hard to kill him as fast as possible.
Yeah.
Taiga's also great on defense because he can give himself camouflage, which pretty much means he evades all damage. In some circumstances, you could just see that as an inconvenience because you just deny him and then wait for it to wear off.
Yeah.
But in certain situations, especially now in Team Wars, to be able to do that means that the other legendaries won't be able to kill you. Also, Taiga is immune to freeze. Immune to stun is more useful in the light element overall, but immune to freeze can be phenomenal. Remember when I think you said once that the water element was the most overpowered in the game at its time because no one was immune to freeze?
Yeah.
This makes him so useful against other monsters. You can really have a safe bet on defense against him.
Yeah.
And also, with Taiga, he has a 30 damage AoE bleed and a 45 damage AoE, which could be easily amplified with Ready to Hunt. Calvin made a great point about Patrion dealing 105 damage in 2 turns, while Taiga can deal 90. But with Taiga, you get that camouflage, which in my opinion is important, especially because he cannot be freezed. And even if you stun him, you can't stun him again, and there's no light monster that comes to mind that can possess.
Yeah, I don't think a light monster that can possess exists, if I'm not mistaken.
And I have a question.
Yeah.
How do you think these two compare to Lath, who used to be the original light attacker?
I would have to look at his skills. I think he has an 80 damage light based attack, if I'm not mistaken.
But it is a massive 39 stamina, and he is hardened, so he'll always have a spot in my heart.
Yeah, exactly. Because he's hardened. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, maybe we should have included him in this analysis comparison. But yeah, that was a good analysis for why Taiga is potentially better than Patrion.
Thank you for having me. Goodbye.
Thanks for being on. Alright, so that was Rabbits with another vote for Taiga. So that's 4 for Taiga, and really good insight on why Taiga could potentially be better. We're gonna bring on Peyton, and then I'll give you guys my thoughts. Hello?
Armor, what's going on?
Hey, how's it going? It's going good for me.
Alright, so we got 2 pretty strong, pretty meta attackers, correct?
Yeah.
Now, I haven't been able to watch the whole stream, so I don't know what's been said, but I can give my opinions on the 2 with pretty strong backing, I think.
Yeah. You should just know that Taiga right now isn't getting lots of love, so I don't know what you're gonna say. Good. All right. Awesome.
Well, he's a good attacker, but as far as the 2 go, he doesn't deserve to win this battle.
All right, go for it. I'm curious why.
All right, so just from a stats standpoint, obviously Patrion's got the advantage, and even from a trait standpoint, he's got the advantage because you don't run into any light attackers that have, or any light legends that even have a free skill. There might be an epic that's water-based. I can't think of the water light epic, but just looking from that, and then going to skills, yes, Taiga does have the double damage skill where Patreon has the 50% boost, but Taiga's skill only has the boost to himself without actually doing any damage, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So just looking at that, I think it's, if my numbers are correct, I don't have the screens in front of me. I believe Taiga's is it 45 damage, moderate light damage to all enemies?
Yes.
And then Patreon's, I think, is 45 damage to all enemies with Sunburn and the damage boost?
Yes, correct.
Okay, and then I think I don't know if it's 40 or 35 damage special AoE after that has bleeding.
It's 40 special base with bleeding.
Okay, so look at it this way. If you were to have 2 turns with your attacker, Taiga could get an 90 damage light-based attack with the double damage skill, where Patreon could get the 45 from his first attack, which is light-based, and then essentially get 60 because he's getting 50% buff on his 40 damage, which is putting him at 105?
Yeah.
Correct?
Yep.
Plus bleeding and sunburn. And one of those is special, so you're not losing a disadvantage from element to element,
yeah, light on light attack.
Deduction, yeah. Yeah, so you have a 105 AoE with bleeding and sunburn, which no enemies are immune to at this point. I know the new one's coming out has immune to bleeding, but as of right now, there are no legends immune to bleeding.
All right, so that's a good point. I'm just gonna counter because I haven't countered to anyone. What about the fact that you're relying on Shining Blue Blade, 90% accuracy, then Blue Blade projection, 90% accuracy, whereas with Taiga, Ready to Hunt, you get that increased accuracy, so you know Fatal Ambush is gonna land, guaranteed 90 damage.
I still look at it as if you're worried about. To me, I'm never gonna run. At least I can't think of a legend I would run on defense that is going to be running 2 strength runes. I don't see it happening without like my top tier defense legends. As far as the 2 going, one having precision and one having not, I still would take my chances on having a special based and 2 DOTs over having the precision and a light based attack. Because let's say you're fighting an enemy that's using life runes, and say the enemy light monster is using life runes, you're not going to be able to, even with double damage, you're not going to be able to one-hit that legend.
Yeah.
There's no way.
That's true, yep.
And I know light is kind of, everyone kind of knows light is not really a deny element. I mean, they have the AoE blind, a couple have the AoE daze, but as far as a deny legend, there really isn't one. I guess you could argue that Balgar has the option to make it so that it could be a deny legend with his enemies only take enemies only take damage from light legends.
Light attacks, yeah.
But as far as those go, I still would take my chances with having the DOTs, having a special based AoE, and the 2 full attacks where Taiga could be stunned on the first. He could be stunned before he gets his first attack in.
That's true.
If because you don't run into any legends that have freeze on offense or defense, at least in regular wars. And again, I'd only use it knowing that I only use those two, knowing that my denier is going to go before their denier, and that should assure me that my attacker is going to get at least his first turn in fully before their denier would go.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just me. So that's my 2 cents.
No, that's pretty good. Like I'm still struggling between which two to pick because I see both sides. They're both. Let's just face it. They're both really good.
Yeah.
Do you think?
I do.
Or go for it.
Go ahead.
Oh, do you think Taiga can one hit an enemy light monster with hit and kill? If you have high enough strength runes.
If you're running all strength runes, yeah. If you're not running all strength runes, I think.
How about,
and even if you're running all strength runes,
how about like
you could argue that. Who has the money to? I mean, I guess if you're a top 5.
Yeah, so it depends on like the
top
league, right?
Player. Yeah, I mean, for most people, I did it earlier. Okay, so I do these. I enjoy these analysis too. I do the little whatever video. I looked at it. I ran a level 6 and a level 5 strength rune on my Patreon. Yes, he's buffed right now, but a level 5 and a level 6 strength rune, which is what I feel. I feel like people can run a level 4 and level 5, but it's pretty close.
Yeah.
Okay, and a level 4 and a level 5, I believe, did 22,000, and he's buffed right now, so subtract 10%. Mm-hmm. He did 22,000 damage with the sunburn, and then he did, or no, was it 18,000? It might have been 18,000 damage with the sunburn, and then 21,000 damage with the bleeding. And not too many enemies you're going to be fighting are going to have over 40,000 damage, or 40,000 life. And even if they do, those DOTs are going to rank up another 20% over 2 turns, 30% over 2 turns.
Yeah, like
so
15, 20. Yeah, it's a lot. Shoot.
And I'm sure you're with this too. One of my favorite things in war battles is being able to utilize DOT effects so that it skips enemies' turns.
Yeah.
And with Taiga, I think his 2 evasion moves don't have any effects. I think he has bleeding on his really strong move.
Yeah.
But with the AoEs, you could use it more, knowing because you can see obviously what you would do if you'd hit those enemies. But you could use it more to your advantage that way.
Yeah, no, I think I would have to agree with you. Really, really great analysis, actually.
Did you decide to take the dive and get Patreon, or are you still waiting for more of analysis?
I don't have enough gems on my account.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm missing 80. I might have to do adventure map. I might actually end up doing that. Just adventure map, request a lot of stamina, and get the gems for them because I really want them.
Well, they just put out today. I don't know what you're doing on Monster Legends for the next. I don't know how long it's available. I think it's 2 days.
Yeah.
But they said I think 20 videos on Monster Wood per 12 hours, or was it 24 hours? Either way, that's at least 40.
Yeah, it's at least 40. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna be on that. And then hopefully League that won't end before the sale's over. If League would have ended before, I could have gotten them, but I guess I'm gonna try for sure though.
Yeah, it's in my opinion, as of right now, my favorite light attacker. At a 100 to 100 basis, I got Bella with great strength runes, but I would still rather have Patreon with his skill set than Bella at 115 with amazing, because I have amazing runes on Bella because we got her from the
team race. Yeah.
Race, but I still would rather have Patreon because it just looking at the two, I can't one hit enemies with Bella, and she doesn't have a second AoE if I don't clean up with, say they have life runes or say one didn't get denied and.
Doesn't
I don't know.
Bella has a 45 AoE, and then the one that gives Sunburn, no?
Yeah, one 45 based AoE, but I think it's light based.
The others, no, I think it's special based if I'm not mistaken. The one that removes all good effects, and then she has the AoE Sunburn, no?
The AoE Sunburn is the 45 damage.
Oh, really?
Light based.
Because I think well, let me check. I'm on with you right now. Curious about that. Bella Ba.
Yes. I use the massive, the blind, the self buff that gives her a shield, the damage boost, and the 45 damage sunburn AoE. I think is what I run.
Okay, so
I
Yeah, I'm looking at her
Her
now.
AoE?
She has a 40 special based AoE that removes positive good effects, and then she has a 35 special based AoE that gives sunburn. Because I run 2 different builds, one with the sunburn, one without it.
Oh, see, no, maybe I'm just not running it right.
Yeah.
I originally put Bella on with. I have two speed runes, but they're high. They're like because it was 115 legend. Not many people are gonna put that much into a regular legend. I think I put like a level 8 or 9 on speed, and then a level 10 strength, so that she could be put on defense because I don't run too many attackers on defense. But if you put a level 10 strength rune on a legend and 2 level 10-ish speed runes, it's still kind of in the realm of not really I mean, it is an attacker, but it's just as much of a threat as a level 100 with some 5s and 6s.
Yeah, agreed. All right, well, Peyton, thank you for that analysis. That was good.
No problem, man. Appreciate the taking me as a caller.
Oh, thank you for being on. Later.
Yep. Take it easy.
Too. All right, so dang, that was another great analysis. Shoot, you guys are making this difficult for me. All right, so my 2 cents on this. And I feel like no matter what I say, I'm going to have a group of people that disagree with me, that hate me, that like me. So I'm going to say Patrion wins here. I'm sorry. Taiga, I like Taiga a lot. I understand that camouflage is really good. But in the current meta, with the current monster you're bound to face, I'm sorry, like, he just takes it. Superior stats, although you can argue whether that matters too much. They're both attackers, so the power there, it's almost the same. It's a few points. Ultimates, we've been over this. Taiga would probably deal more damage because it's 80 as opposed to 70, but with Patrion you can stun, so that can really save your butt. You never know when it can save your butt. And then just going on over to the skills, as Calvin said, like, it's like they took Taiga and they upgraded it. Deadly Artifice, 30 damage, light based, plus gives bleeding. For Patrion we have Blue Blade Projection, 40 damage, more damage, special based, that helps against light monsters, 24 stamina, that's a lot lower than with Taiga, and a 2-turn cooldown as opposed to a 3-turn cooldown. Now honestly that probably won't matter, you probably won't use Blue Blade Projection 2 times in a game, but I'm just saying, it's overall better. Comparing Fatal Ambush versus Shining Blue Blade, we have Fatal Ambush, what is that, 45 damage, 36 stamina, 3-turn cooldown. Shining Blue Blade, 45 damage, 23 stamina, 13 less stamina, 3-turn cooldown, same on the cooldown, but this gives Sunburn. And what I love about Sunburn, currently no monster is immune to it, they lose 15% of the HP for the next 3 turns, and their accuracy is reduced. Sure, their accuracy is reduced by only 15%, but anything that reduces the enemy's accuracy, they could potentially miss. Like, I don't know how many times, thanks to Days, I've won battle. Yeah, that's 25%, but just having the enemy's accuracy reduced, that can really help you out. And you get a damage boost, a 50% damage boost. So, I don't know, it's just skills. The one thing I will say about Taiga is I definitely prefer hit and kill. Well, I may or may not prefer hit and kill. Taiga is in the Evil Legions, if I'm not mistaken, so there's so many different monsters you can face. So, I guess it really depends where they end up putting Patrion in a book. But what I do like about hit and kill, against a light monster, you have a better chance to one-hit. Versus a General Ingvar, if Ingvar's running a life rune, you're probably not going to one-hit him regardless of what you run. In which case, Limb Breaker really helps. As Calvin said, if that Ingvar does encouragement on the first turn or the second turn, you can use Limb Breaker to get rid of that life regeneration, that stamina regeneration, and you can potentially apply bleeding. You may not apply bleeding, you may apply bleeding, generals have tough, but overall, I don't know, I have to. I'm on Team Patrion, I have to be. Taiga's good, Taiga's great, but overall, like, even the argument of Taiga versus Ingvar, right? If Ingvar goes first, let's say he's running like 2 speeds and a team life, or a life and 2 speeds, or just 3 speeds. There's lots of players that run Ingvar with 3 speeds, because he can AoE Daze, AoE Blind, he can stun. Taiga versus Ingvar can potentially stun your Taiga. You're immune to freeze, so you can get immobilized on turn 1, then you can get blinded. Of course, you can always use Ready to Hunt. You have Camouflage, increased accuracy, double damage, but on the next turn, he can do AoE Daze, or vice versa, he can Daze you then blind you. So, although Camouflage protects you from taking damage, you can still get hit with effects. And I guess the same can be said for Patrion. The only difference here is that you can't get stunned. So if he does AoE Daze, you can remove that debuff, you can heal yourself, you can give yourself life regeneration, which will recover your life by 20% for the next 3 turns. If you get hit with, it has a 1-turn cooldown. Overall, I'm just saying that, in my opinion, he's better, for sure. So that's my analysis. I'm seeing the comments now, people are agreeing, people are disagreeing, but It is what it is. Now let's see what... And overall, I think in the stream, most people... I think Taiga got 4 votes in total. Again, it's really hard. These are 2 good attackers, that's for sure. As for putting them on defense, would you even put these monsters on defense is a valid question. But yeah, let's see what the straw poll has to say. Let's bring it up. And boom. And let me refresh it to make sure it's accurate. 37 votes for Patrion and 28 for Taiga. So a 9-vote difference, 57 to 43%. Honestly, that is pretty close. I wonder if this would change once more people actually had the chance to use Patrion and got to use them in wars, got to use them in just regular PvP or dungeons, and maybe they would see that this monster is maybe better than Taiga. Because so far, the advantage Taiga has, I think that Patrion doesn't have, is that people have actually used Taiga. People have got comfortable with Taiga. I think they handed out 1 or 2 Taigas almost for free, so I think I can rank mine up to 105. So maybe that's the same case with a lot of people. But anyways, with that being said, that is going to conclude this Monster Legends livestream comparison series. I am going to be gone tomorrow and Sunday, but don't worry, I'll have video for you guys ready. I was editing all night, so that's going to be good. I'll actually be leaving like in 1 hour, so I won't be back until Monday. But I hope you guys enjoy those videos. I'm probably going to release like 6 videos, honestly. Hope you guys enjoy. Thank you all for being a part of this live stream. Thank you all for giving me your opinion. It was a really tough live stream, I think. Like up until the very end, I wasn't sure who I was going to vote for. I just knew whoever I voted for, I was going to get hated on one part. But yeah, guys, thank you all. I'm Armor Gaming. Thanks all for being here. And like always, remember to dream big and pursue your passions.